We're back for our daily college basketball best bets here on Thursday, March 12th. We have all of the conference tournaments officially starting today, except for the Ivy League. Nope, because the Ivy League is special. They just do a Saturday and Sunday for their tourney with their 4-team bracket. But regardless, every other college basketball conference has either already had their conference tournament or is having their conference tournament today. So we've got a lot of college basketball today, a lot of college basketball conference tournaments at the end of the video. I mean, there's got to be 15 of them today. It's absurd. We'll go over all of that again at the end of the video. We preview every single conference tournament and every single conference tournament game. But of course, first up, we have our 5 best bets for today's action. Now, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Later today on Greedo Plays, we're going to have our NBA best bets. Some huge games today in the association. We've got Nuggets taking on the Spurs. We got the Celtics and the Thunder. So make sure to check that out later today on the channel and on Greedo Plays MMA. Our UFC Fight Night Emmett versus Viejos full card predictions. That is linked in the description down below. Later today on Greedo Plays MMA as well. We'll have our 5 best bets for this UFC Vegas card. So you're not going to want to miss that later today again on Greedo Plays MMA. And the predictions are already linked in the description down below. Real quickly, yesterday's slate of games. I mean, guys, these dogs just keep on winning. Except for the dogs we take. Oh, 2-3 day yesterday. Could have been a lot worse. What can I say? Could have been a lot worse. But how about Mississippi State? How about Mississippi State? They're up 10 points in the second half. They end up losing by 20. And we had them to cover 7.5. They found a way to lose. Great. They found a way not to cover. Awesome. You guys suck. Now, by the way, Auburn's getting in the tournament. Every bubble team continues to lose. Auburn's getting in the tourney. Even if the Mountain West has a bid stealer, Auburn's getting in, guys. We're going to have to watch that team play in Dayton. McNeese beat Stephen F. Austin. Thought that was going to happen. It was an easy one. BU loses to Lehigh. Whoops. Morgan State loses to a team that won 2 games all year long in their conference. Great. We got them at minus 140. They closed around minus 190, and they still lost. Great. They scored 15 points in the first half. Great job, guys. And then Cal Poly, I mean, an easy cover against UC San Diego. The Tritons ended up winning the game, but 5.5 was just way too many points. It sucks. I wanted Poly to win because I wanted to take them again today. Again, I firmly believe if they had beaten UCSD today, they were going to go on a run. They would have gotten Northridge today. They would have beat Northridge. They would not have beaten Irvine, but I really wanted to see Cal Poly go on that run, but obviously they lose to UCSD. They do cover, but unfortunately, again, the road for the Mustangs did end yesterday in Vegas. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for this long college basketball slate. We kick things off with the ACC. We are looking yet again at Louisville versus Miami. It's the quarterfinals, obviously, of the ACC tournament. This line opened at 3.5 for Louisville. It has since moved to 1.5. Louisville still obviously slightly favored. Don't know if this is going to continue to move. I'm recording this video a little past midnight, and currently, again, the odds are plus 110 for the Hurricanes and minus 130 for the Louisville Cardinals. I'm going to be going, obviously, with the Hurricanes to win this game outright. I think it's a great opportunity for them. Obviously, with no Mikel Brown, I get it. Brown did not play the last game in Miami. But now, okay, here's the difference, right? Miami's gotten full time to prepare for a Louisville team without Mikel Brown in the lineup. They know what to expect. In that first game, okay, Louisville dominates the first half, and that entire rest of the game is just Miami chipping away at, obviously, Louisville. And eventually they take the lead late into the second half. They ultimately give it up in Louisville at some big shots down the stretch, and the Cardinals win the basketball game. But I didn't mind the direction in which that game was going. I really thought, okay, Miami, the way that they're playing and the way that they're continuously cutting down this lead. I mean, they were down 10 points, it felt like, from the entire game until they went on their run late in the game. They eventually took the lead very slightly at the end, and obviously Louisville just took it right back. But I do believe Miami should have a lot of confidence beating this team the second time out. Obviously now with Brown not playing, obviously Ryan Conwell's done a phenomenal job all year long, and he had a good game against Southern Methodist. But I will say this yesterday about Louisville, wasn't a dominant victory at all. I mean, SMU, it's a back and forth affair, do not get me wrong. I thought SMU down the stretch was going to win that basketball game. Obviously Louisville holds them off, and SMU now, that's a bubble L, so what's going to happen? I don't know. I mean, I guarantee you ESPN's going to tell you, and it'll probably happen. Auburn's going to get into the tournament over SMU. Let's just be honest with that. And how about those Indiana Hoosiers yesterday? Losing to Northwestern. We don't even get the chance to play Purdue because you can't beat Northwestern. Somehow, ESPN still has Indiana as the first team out. So you're telling me if VCU loses their first round game in the A-10 tomorrow, you're telling me Indiana's still gonna get in the tournament? You're telling me if Duquesne beats VCU tomorrow, Indiana's going dancing? They better not. I'm saying this as an IU guy. They don't deserve to be in the tournament. They don't. If they want to play in the Crown, go play in the Crown. I don't need to see that team try to play another competitive basketball game all year long, though. I don't need to see it, okay? Have DeVries work the portal. The recruiting class is going to be good coming in next year to Bloomington. I don't need to see this version play again. Again, shout out to Lamar Wilkerson. Phenomenal year. Rest of the team, honestly, I thank you, but yeah, it's a football school now. Anyways, Louisville, again, Louisville beats SMU yesterday. They win it by 4 points. I'm not impressed, but they win, so good on them. They shot 20% from beyond the arc. SMU had 3 free throw attempts all game, and I get it. SMU just, settled for a lot of shots in that game, a lot of perimeter shots, and did settle for a lot of middies in that game, but don't love that. I mean, again, it's a game Louisville barely gets buy-in. They did not look great without Brown. I understand Brown did not play the prior matchup in the regular season, obviously, against Miami to close their regular season, but it just didn't feel like a great Louisville shooting night. Obviously, Conwell going 2 for 9, McNeely going 2 for 7, Woolley going 1 for 5, again, all from beyond the three-point line, and ultimately, that's how Louisville gets Miami the last time out. I mean, it's a really high-scoring game. Final score is 92-89 for the Cardinals, and again, they are leading for 93% of this basketball game, but Louisville just hit, opportune three after, just again, at the perfect moments, Louisville continued to knock down threes when it absolutely mattered. They shot 50% from beyond the arc against Miami, only attempted 24, but again, it felt like in every big spot, whenever Miami, tried to go on their run, Louisville would sink a three, and immediately, again, it would be 2 steps forward for Miami, and immediately 3 steps backwards. And as in the course of the entire game, Louisville shot 60%. Can we expect that to happen again? No. And I get it. The Cardinals did that in Miami. Neutral site, obviously, it's in North Carolina, ACC Tournament. I think Miami gets them this time around. Again, I think they're more prepared for Louisville. I think Miami did get better as that game went on. And, they did take the lead and they lost in the end. But still, it felt like, again, Miami was gaining momentum. They were down for 10 points, I'm serious, the entire game until about 5 minutes to go when they made that push. And it felt like as that game was going on, again, Miami was just sort of figuring it out. The only difference was, okay, Louisville would hit, again, another big-time three-point shot. I'm okay with Miami here. I do believe the Hurricanes are able to see some success, and I think they are able to win the game outright. Again, Brown probably back for the NCAA tournament, obviously, for Louisville, but that Louisville-SMU game is so unlike the Louisville Cardinals, scoring 62 points in a game. I mean, if you come out and do that again against Miami, the Hurricanes should beat you. It is the second night of a back-to-back for Louisville. Obviously, I mean, there are different ways to approach that and look at that with college basketball because some teams are going to just catch fire on, the second night of back-to-back or third or even a fourth night of a back-to-back, and some teams just, it doesn't really matter. So we shall see. I'm going to be going with the Hurricanes, though, to win this game. Obviously, this is the next, or I guess the final round of the new teams entering into the ACC tournament. And what I mean by that now is we are down to 8. So the 4 teams that got the double byes in Duke, UNC, Virginia, Miami, more on North Carolina later. Now these are the last teams to enter the tournament. So the winner of this Miami-Louisville game will play Virginia, NC State tomorrow. I mean, obviously, for both Miami and Louisville, you're both already in the NCAA tournament. We've got no bubble teams in this game, obviously. Louisville is ranked at 24th in the country, obviously coming off of their victory to end the regular season against the Hurricanes. But I do think Miami turns it around this time. We need a big game out of Malik Reneau, obviously, right? The former Indiana Hoosier. We need Reneau to play a good game. He didn't do much in that last matchup against Louisville. Yes, he scored 18 points, but how did he score his 18 points? Well, 14 for 16 from the free throw line, 2 for 4 from the field. That'll do it. And I get it. Reneau is getting hacked all game long. Yeah, if I'm Miami, I'm continuing to feed him all game long. You got to, I don't want to say slow the game down, but I think, again, we need to hit opportune shots for Miami, play solid defense against this Louisville team who obviously seemed out of sync yesterday and out of sorts. And again, they won the game. But if Miami can get hot from 3, which we know they can do, we should be okay. Like, look at the SMU game for the Hurricanes, a game where they just continue to find their stroke from beyond the arc. We need, those bench points out of True Washington. We need Noam Dorvat to hit his threes as well off the bench. Trey Donaldson, obviously, one of the starters, obviously, who's probably the best. He definitely is the best three-point shooting starter on this team. We need big-time shooting. We need Malik Reneau to have a good game down low. And I think, again, Miami should be more well off this time out against Louisville for 2 reasons. They've already played it. They just played them a couple of games ago. That's their last game going into this one. And Miami, again, I felt like was getting better as the game went on. As for, Mikel Brown, that is a factor. I know Mikel Brown didn't play the last Miami-Louisville game. It wasn't the latest second scratch, but I mean, it was fairly short notice that Brown wasn't going to play that game. He was a game time decision going into it the night before, ends up not playing. I think Miami's more focused around, okay, we don't have to go through, we only have to focus basically on Conwell defensively now. No, Conwell and Brown. I think we're going to we are taking the Hurricanes here, and I think they will be successful moving on now to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. Give me the Hurricanes getting their get back from their last matchup against the Louisville Cardinals. I'm taking Miami money line here in North Carolina, in Charlotte, at plus 110 again for the Canes. On to our second best bet of the video, we move to the Mountain West. And oh man, chaos in the Mountain West yesterday, especially with one game and one game only, as San Jose State, as 20.5-point dogs, go and beat Boise State in the Mountain West tournament. Huh? What? That makes sense. Again, we didn't pick it, obviously. I'm just, I'm watching the late night games and we see that happen. I mean, the Mountain West yesterday produced some interesting results, to say the least. What can I say? I mean, you got Fresno State playing a competitive game out of nowhere. You got Fresno taking Colorado State down to the wire. Obviously, Nevada, beats Air Force. Air Force scored, 11, 12 points in the first half. Ridiculous. And then UNLV blows out Wyoming. But yeah, San Jose State outright just beats Boise by 10 points. There was conversation, okay, can Boise now go on a run? No, obviously. Maybe, losing to Hawaii Pacific at the beginning of your season doesn't bode well to playing in a tournament. So San Jose State's the only underdog to win yesterday in the Mountain West, but here we go. We're looking at the 4-5 matchup between Grand Canyon and Nevada. Grand Canyon is a huge bid stealer in this thing. Truly, huge bid stealer. Because here's the thing. I mean, you can consider San Diego State and New Mexico bid stealers as well. But the thing about both those teams is, and we said this yesterday, we're expecting today San Diego State and New Mexico to win, okay? San Diego State should get Colorado State, and San Jose State's magical run should end today against the New Mexico Lobos. The Lobos have been shaky, to say the least, all year long, at least when we've watched them. I know they have a lot of potential and talent on that team, but we do expect both New Mexico and San Diego State to win today, which then allows for a semifinal matchup tomorrow between those two teams. And what we said at the beginning of the week, or yesterday, was, well, the winner of that game is going to push themselves into Dayton. The loser of that game, because both these teams are bubble teams, loser's going to be out, winner's going to be in, right? It's kind of like that Ohio State-Indiana game we talked about a week and a half ago, where obviously the Buckeyes won. That's what San Diego State, New Mexico is going to turn into. So regardless of who plays, who gets in the championship game, if the winner of San Diego State or New Mexico wins the Mountain West, it's not really a bid stealer anymore. It's really not. The one true bid stealer in the Mountain West still, though, is Grand Canyon. Because we know Utah State's in. And as long as New Mexico and San Diego State win today, we know the winner of that game is at least going to the first four. Just the way the bubble's shaking out. GCU has the chance to earn a 3-bid Mountain West, and they have a chance to bump out a team like Auburn. Bump out a team like, I don't think VCU is going to get bumped out, but Auburn's legitimately that team. Again, Indiana's still the first team out according to ESPN. How? Obviously, they have no way of working themselves back in unless, again, VCU loses, and then I guess ESPN would say, just throw the Hoosiers in the tournament. Let them go play SMU in the tourney. That'd be fun. No, Indiana should not be in the tournament. Anyways, though, Grand Canyon is that bid stealer. Yeah, it could be Nevada, but no. GCU should beat Nevada here. I have to imagine, again, we don't know for sure, but if I know Grand Canyon University, they will have a pretty solid student section at this game. Again, do these kids have classes? Do these students have classes? You'd think maybe the game's at 2:30 in Vegas. I guarantee you there's going to be more Grand Canyon heads than Nevada heads at this game. I can, again, almost guarantee you that. I don't know where they come from. Well, I know where they come from. They come from Arizona. But, yeah, I don't know. GCU always pulls in the weirdest and largest fan base imaginable. Again, I've always said this. Like, the Havocs are the best environment, and watching a game with the Havocs in the crowd is the best environment in the Mountain West. I love watching games at GCU, at least on TV. Obviously, I've never been. Maybe I should go. Anyways, I think this crowd's going to be going, because we've seen this in the WAC tournament before. Obviously, we saw it in the NCAA tournament. They just randomly get thousands of fans in the building, which, again, good for them, school spirit. So I got to imagine GCU's going. I'm not going to say it's going to be a home court advantage, obviously, because they're playing a team from Nevada, even though, obviously, Reno and Las Vegas are the polar opposite sides of the state. Obviously, Reno's North Nevada, and, of course, Vegas is South Nevada, but still, I think GCU's closer to Vegas than Reno is, I think so. Phoenix, yeah, it should be. There should be a bigger support crowd. That's one horrible way of putting it. There's going to be more GCU fans there than Nevada fans, and it should feel more of a GCU environment than a Nevada environment. What is a Nevada environment? A packed out 3,000 person arena? with all due respect. No, I have nothing against UNR at all. But I think GCU is going to beat Nevada in this spot. These two teams did meet in the regular season, and they met in Reno. And yes, Nevada won the game. They won 66-60, low-scoring affair. I stand corrected. Apparently, that place holds 8,000 people. Seriously, Lawler Event Center has 8,000 person capacity. I'm sorry, it does not look like that on TV. I apologize. 8,000 people can fit in that thing? That's crazy to me. I've never been, obviously. I've been to Reno, not the campus though. I'm sorry. I'm astounded by this. That arena looks like that? Sorry, just for reference, this is what I'm looking at. I did not know this arena looked like this. I apologize, Reno, Nevada. Anyways, though, I'm still taking the Lopes to win this basketball game. I do think they get back from that initial matchup. It's a really close game. It's an overtime game, right? GCU with about 8 minutes to go. It's a competitive game, for the first, let's say, again, 32 minutes of the game. With 8 minutes to go in the game, though, GCU goes on a run, and Grand Canyon takes about like an 8-point lead. With they go on a run from like 8 minutes to 6 minutes. They take an 8-point lead with 6 minutes to go, and Nevada just keeps on chipping away at that lead for the rest of the game. GCU barely hits a bucket for the last 6 minutes of regulation, and Nevada sends them into overtime. And Nevada, with all the momentum, capitalizes on that momentum and wins the game at home in Reno. So UNR wins that initial matchup. They were 4.5 point favorites, but again, it took a come from behind effort, and GCU played well for the first, again, 32, 36 minutes of the game, and then they fell apart at the very end. They fell apart in overtime. Grand Canyon obviously got the bye in this tournament, as Nevada had to play yesterday, where they were successful, of course, beating the Air Force Falcons. Air Force was 3-25, 3-28 yesterday, 3-28. Get it? Atlanta Falcons? No, okay. They were 3-28 going into yesterday. They went 0-20 in the Mountain West, and of course, Air Force yesterday lost to Nevada. What was it? 70-45, 80-45, even worse. And again, Air Force scored 11 or 12 points in the first half. That's not good. That's almost as bad as the Morgan State Bears yesterday in the MEAC. Anyways, that's Nevada's last two games. They beat Air Force back-to-back. Who cares? Games prior to that, they lost at UNLV, competitive game, lost by 2, and then lost at Wyoming by 10. They have been a really good home team, I will say. At Reno this year, Nevada's been great. They beat New Mexico at home. They beat Utah State at home. Fresno. They beat UNLV. They did beat GCU like we already mentioned. Did anyone go into Reno this year and beat them? I don't think so. I think they were undefeated in Reno this year. San Diego State did it. I forgot. The Aztecs did it. But other than that, yeah, nobody's been able to go into Nevada and beat this team. Neutral site, it's different though. I mean, if these two teams played in the regular season in Arizona, I would say I think it would probably be a little bit different. I think GCU probably would have won that game. But on a neutral site, season on the line, GCU the 4 seed with the bye, taking on a Nevada team that played yesterday. I'm going to take the Lopes. I think the Lopes are able to hit big time shots in this game. I do think they're able to play a physical defensive game in this one as well. Both teams, I will say, kind of do the same thing. Not the highest paced offenses. They're looking for corner threes if they can get them. Not really looking to run. Play somewhat decent defense. Both teams led by guards. Again, they kind of played the same way. I'm talking about Jaden Henley, obviously, for GCU, and Corey Camper for Nevada. They both function through those guards. They both have decent bigs, I will say. I could say good bigs, and 2 good bigs that will shoot the 3-point ball. I'm talking about Elijah Price, and I'm talking, of course, about Nana Owosu Aname. Obviously, Aname is going to shoot the 3 a lot more than Elijah Price will, but they both kind of do the same thing. Supporting cast, Makai Williams for GCU, obviously the former MEAC Player of the Year last year for the Norfolk State Spartans, and Brian Moore Jr. Nevada's got their, Tayshawn Comer. They've got Chuck Bailey, Vaughn Weems. They're both teams are kind of made the same. Now, Nevada obviously got Joel Armo trading back halfway through the year. Armo trading got injured to start the season, comes back. He's a backup center, but he does play meaningful minutes. He's purely out there for his defense. He's a senior, 6'10" center from London, England. Played last year in that cesspool known as UC Riverside and started every game for that cesspool last year. He escapes the cesspool, and now he's obviously at Nevada. He's good. I will give Armo trading a lot of credit. Coming off the injury still, they don't play him big minutes, but he is out there again purely for defense. I'll say he's like, this is a weird comp, Jonathan Isaac. But he doesn't play the perimeter defense Jonathan Isaac does. He's purely a big. He's just built like Jonathan Isaac, but obviously not as mobile as Jonathan Isaac. Obviously Isaac, NBA player, you can be 6'10" and play like Jonathan Isaac in the NBA, obviously. Or, you get my point. Jonathan Isaac was a phenomenal college basketball player, and he's a really good NBA player too. He doesn't get a lot of recognition because he's a defense-first guy. Anyways, though, I'm going GCU. I think Grand Canyon is able to win the basketball game. Again, I do think this is somewhat of a mirror match, but I do think GCU does play better defense. I think they're going to, 3-point wise, we'll see, because Nevada, I do believe, is a better all-around 3-point shooting team, but Grand Canyon just plays opportune basketball, and I do just think defensively that's going to be the difference in this game. And as well, think about the crowd. The Havocs will be in Vegas, one way or another, at 2:30 in the afternoon in the desert known as Las Vegas, Nevada. There will be Havocs in the crowd. GCU moneyline in Vegas, minus 130 to beat the Nevada Wolfpack. On to our third best bet of the video, we move to the Southeastern Conference as we've got the Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. The bubble continues to suck. So here's the thing, Texas yesterday loses to Ole Miss, and first of all, how the hell do you lose to Ole Miss? I don't know, but still, Texas is in the tournament. How would they not? I mean, everyone in the bubble continues to lose. Santa Clara, by the way, now absolutely cannot be playing in Dayton, Ohio. But here's the thing, according to ESPN, they don't think Texas is even going to drop into Dayton. So right now, the last 4 byes, NC State automatically in. UCF with their come from behind win yesterday, they are in. I don't think that team's good at all. I think they'll get bitched in a 7-10 game, just going to be honest with you. But they're in, so good for them. So they're in. Santa Clara has to be in. And then there's Texas. Who, again, loses to Ole Miss yesterday, but I guess they're still in the tournament, and they probably don't even have to go to Dayton. Missouri's in the last 4 in right now, which, sure, I guess we'll see what Mizzou does. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Mizzou plays Kentucky today. Kentucky's favored. If Mizzou loses, are they out? Probably not, because they play in the SEC. And there's VCU, SMU, Auburn, and then obviously first four out, Indiana, New Mexico, Stanford, San Diego State. Again, we know that if likely New Mexico and San Diego State both win today, the winner of that matchup tomorrow between those two teams are going to find themselves in the tournament. So you can expect one of these bubble teams to move out that are currently in to make room for the winner of the Lobos and the Aztecs. But Ole Miss beats a Texas team, and I get it. Texas's overall resume is pretty good, but I do think you have to put more weight into March. Texas is 18-14. They're not good. They've lost 3 consecutive games going into the tournament. You lose in the first round to a layup in the Ole Miss Rebels. I guess, again, what they did in the regular season puts them in the tournament. I understand. They went to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. Sure, they have some good wins. But really? I don't know, man. The bubble's just so ass this year, and, like, all of the expected mid-major champions, except for, like, I don't know, LIU, Brooklyn, and McNeese, are winning. Like, the best mid-majors are not coming out of this right now, which, again, that's just college basketball. That's the game. You know, the good mid-majors will watch in the NIT this season. But, yeah, it's interesting. We're going to see a lot of really mid-14 seeds this year. Yes, a lot of mid-14 seeds. Oh, my goodness. The LIU Sharks might be a 14 seed, guys. They're probably going to be a 15, but, whew. Oh my goodness. Okay, Ole Miss versus Georgia. I think this is a domination. This is complete domination from Georgia. Yes, I know Ole Miss went to Athens earlier this year and beat this team. The momentum Georgia's on right now, there's no chance. There's no chance. Georgia should put complete belt to ass in this game. Okay, we watched Georgia at the end of the regular season, and I was not impressed with this team until this last 6-game stretch. I'm not all in on Georgia, but I do think they're good enough. Okay, last 6 games for the Bulldogs going into the SEC tournament. You go to Rupp, you go to Lexington, Kentucky, and you beat the Kentucky Wildcats 86-78. You beat Texas at home 91-80. You go to Vandy and lose, it is what it is. Vandy still sucks, but who cares? Whatever. You beat South Carolina at home, blowout 19-point win. You beat Alabama at home by 10. Bama was coming off the win in Knoxville the game prior against Tennessee. And then Georgia goes to Mississippi State. The Bulldogs suck, but they go beat Josh Hubbard on the road 102-96. Of course, by the way, Josh Hubbard can never put together a good game when we bet on him. Can't wait to see you next year, pal. You know, maybe he should transfer out. He should go play at Indiana next year. I'm joking. He should, but he's not going to, obviously. He'll stay at Mississippi State. They'll offer him everything to stay in Starkville. Regardless, Georgia, the momentum they have right now is huge. Oh, Ole Miss beat Texas. Well, the bubble in the SEC sucks. I know Georgia has been on the bubble all year long, kind of. They're obviously in. The Bama win put them in automatically. They're a 7 seed right now. They're projected to play Santa Clara in the first round. Really? Oh, they lose to Santa Clara in the first round. They better hope they don't get that matchup. Yeah, that would not be good for them. Anyways, Georgia projected to be a 7 right now. Ole Miss obviously just beats Texas in a low-scoring game, 76-66. Yeah, this is the end of the line because you're going to need to score a lot against Georgia. I know they beat him the first time. I know. It's a different Georgia team right now. Again, March and college basketball is all about momentum. Look at the last 6 games Georgia played. Only loss is in Nashville to Vanderbilt. All the momentum is behind the Bulldogs. That last game against Ole Miss, it doesn't even matter anymore. When was that game played? What was the day of that game? January 14th? It's a game that Georgia's winning for the most part. It's a competitive game, but Georgia's, kind of, dictating the pace of that game. Ole Miss gets it in overtime. AJ Storr has 27 points. Okay, whatever. That was in January. It's a long time ago. And again, that 6-game stretch recently out of Georgia means everything. What 6-game stretch has Ole Miss gone on? I don't know. They lost to A&M, lost to Florida, lost to LSU, beat Auburn because Auburn sucks. But yet, because Auburn beat Mississippi State. Oh, they're in the tournament now. Vandy, Ole Miss lost South Carolina at home. And you beat Texas. Okay, great. I can't trust AJ Storr to carry this team. Again, asking AJ Storr to carry a team in the year of our Lord 2026 is a difficult proposition, but that's kind of how I feel sometimes watching Ole Miss basketball. I'm like, all right, who's going to get a bucket? When you absolutely need a bucket on Ole Miss, who do they go to? They go to AJ Storr. Malik Diaz has been okay this season. Not sold. I think Georgia's the better team. I know Georgia's pulled out some, let's say, some fluky shooting performances at times this season. Obviously, I'm talking about that Alabama game where, just out of absolutely nowhere, we saw Cannon Catchins randomly go 7 for 13 from beyond the arc and score 32 points. But you know what? He parlayed that into a 23-point performance in his next game against Mississippi State. So maybe Catchings has just caught fire. No idea. Okay. Maybe he's just caught it, though. Like, he's just catching up. He's playing well these last couple games. Maybe that momentum carries into this game. Obviously, again, Millender's had a good year for the most part. Jeremiah Wilkinson is the leading scorer, averaging 17 points per game for the Bulldogs. Recently, he's been okay. He's kind of taken a back seat recently, believe it or not. Blue Kane, obviously, on this team, too. Kane guard. Does Kane, not remind you of Carson Beck at all? Just, his face. I don't know. I know they don't look alike. If you put them side by side, they don't look alike at all. But I don't know. Someone about Blue Kane just yells Carson Beck to me. I know they both played at Georgia at a time. I get it. Anyways, Blue Kane's been good too. It's a solid Georgia team. They can score. I'll tell you that. They're just a typical high-scoring SEC team. Whereas Ole Miss had a lot of problems this season, high-scoring SEC teams. I know, again, they got by Georgia the first time. That's a long time ago. That's when Ole Miss actually had momentum in the SEC. At the time, guys, when they beat Georgia, they were 10-7 in the conference, 10-7 as a whole, 2-2 in the conference. They parlayed that by going and beating their rivals, obviously in Starkville by 1 point. What did they do after that? They were on a 3-game winning streak at the time. They were 11-7, 3-2 in the conference. What did they do? Oh, they lost 10 straight games. Nice. You lost to a high-scoring LSU team at home where you choked a double overtime game. I mean, again, it's just been the struggle for Ole Miss all year long. High-scoring teams that can put up 90, 80-ish, high 80s, 90 points. That's what Georgia should be able to do tonight. I don't think the game's competitive at all. Ole Miss got their game. I'm not going to say it's a fluke because Texas just sucks, but they got their win. They went to, Nashville. They got their victory in the SEC tournament. They already exceeded expectations. Malik Diaz played well. He scored 23 points. Good on him. But this is where the run comes to an end. You bring in an actual decent team. And again, I don't think Georgia's the best, but I think obviously compared to Ole Miss, they're much better. Again, I still am not sold on anything currently in the Southeastern Conference except for the Florida Gators, but that's neither here or there. Ultimately, this is a 7 versus a 15 seed game. I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs to take out the Ole Miss Rebels. Georgia wins and covers the points as well. -5.5 for Georgia, taking the victory again in the SEC tournament in Nashville, Tennessee. On to our fourth best bet of the video. We move now to a matchup in the Atlantic Coast Conference. You saw it in the thumbnail as the Clemson Tigers take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm going UNC. I understand they're injured. I get it. Caleb Wilson's out. I know. I still think they're able to get by here. I'm not saying they're going to go on a big run in the ACC tourney because, who do they play tomorrow? Duke, yeah. I think they're going to get there, though. I think they're going to get to the Duke game, and obviously I believe the Blue Devils, are going to clean up on them tomorrow. But tonight, I do think UNC is just barely able to get by. I like the matchup between them and Clemson. These two teams just played right at the end of the regular season. Obviously, it's kind of that UNC team that we're going to get tonight that played against the Tigers, and I get it. UNC was just unbeatable this year in Chapel Hill. They didn't lose at home all season long, but they beat Clemson in a fairly low-scoring game as the Tar Heels won 67-63. Again, no Caleb Wilson tonight. We'll see what his future is for the NCAA tournament. I don't believe what was the latest update on him? No, right? He's not playing, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he's not. Okay. I was just pretty sure he's not playing. Yeah. I think, right? I could have sworn I saw a report saying Caleb Wilson's not going to play. Yeah, because he broke his thumb or whatnot. There was another serious injury that happened. Yeah, okay, yeah. Season-ending thumb injury. I'm just making sure I saw that right. Regardless, Caleb Wilson's out for the year. So, again, UNC, they know this is what they have for the rest of the season. They have to now adapt to, okay, no Caleb Wilson for the rest of the year. They knew he wasn't going to play in the ACC tournament anyways. They knew, the expectation at the time of the injury, the initial injury, was, okay, hopefully we can get him back for the NCAA tournament. Well, he's not going to be back. So this is the team that they have. And even without Wilson, they did go on a 4-game winning streak to close the regular season prior to obviously playing the Duke Blue Devils in Cameron Indoor Stadium. They won 4 in a row. They went to Cuse and beat Syracuse. They beat Louisville at home. They beat VTech at home. They beat Clemson at home. And yes, again, UNC was just a dominant team in Chapel Hill this season. Well, let's take it to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll say that. Not the closest, obviously, to Charlotte. It's on, the opposite side of the state, like all of the schools are. For Wake Forest, Duke, NC State, North Carolina, whatever. They're all in a 45-minute radius of each other, which I didn't know until I actually went to North Carolina myself when I went to North Carolina State, not to actually go to the school, but you get my point. I went to Raleigh. Anyways, games in North Carolina, I get it. It's a team from South Carolina and Clemson taking on UNC, but UNC does get that added bonus of playing in their home state, which, again, it's not directly, obviously, next to Chapel Hill, but we'll take it. How does this game match up stylistically? Well, again, UNC should be able to win this. I believe what they do defensively should be enough. We saw that in the first matchup played between these two teams. And straight up scoring-wise, I don't love what the Tigers do. Again, they beat Wake Forest, which obviously they're expected to beat Wake, who was awful this season, but they win the game by 9 points, and it's a typical Clemson game. They don't score that many. Again, they don't have one guy who's just going to go out and give you 1,000,000 points because that's just how they are kind of spread throughout their entire season. I think it was RJ Godfrey led them in scoring with 11 points. That's what he averages on the season. And no other player other than RJ Godfrey scored more than 10. But everyone who played minutes yesterday for Clemson, and they play a 10-man rotation, everyone scored. It's just how Clemson is. It's selfless basketball. And I respect it. I do. I respect it. I think UNC gets them. Again, UNC now knows, all right, this is what we have for the tournament. They're prepared. Okay, this is the team that we have. We got to make do of it at this point. I think they're going to be okay. They still have some good players beyond Caleb Wilson, obviously. Yes, he's the top pick. I think there are some rumblings he might come back next season. Why would you? You're the surefire number 4 pick in the draft. Now, maybe if he sees Sacramento with the number 4 overall pick, he'll say sayonara. Again, best the NBA can do for Sacramento is going to be Kingston Flemings, who is a phenomenal player. But regardless, there's talent around Caleb Wilson. And obviously, yes, Wilson's out for the year, but there are some guys in this team that aren't bad and are capable scorers. Obviously, first one that comes to mind is Seth Trimble. Trimble, experienced college basketball player. Again, 4th season at North Carolina. This is his final NCAA tournament and final ACC tournament. Henry Visar, obviously, the Estonian junior center, has played well for the most part this year. Obviously, the former Arizona Wildcat. There are guys. There are scorers on the team. Clemson, not going to point you to one individual player. Again, it's Godfrey, it's Welling, Porter, Davidson, Buckner, Dylan Hunter. It's just a lot of good scorers, a lot of players who just do their job. And that's the best way I can put Clemson. I can talk about Clemson. It's just a bunch of selfless players who do what they're asked, and they're successful at playing that style of game. I just think UNC overpowers them with talent. That's just the simplest way I can put it. Clemson went on that 4-game losing streak at one point this year, right? They were 20-4. I think they were ranked at that time. Lost 4 games in a row to VTech, at Cameron Indoor to Duke, at Winston-Salem against North Carolina, and then against Florida State as well. They are coming to this game, obviously, on back-to-back victories, closing the regular season with a victory over Georgia Tech, and then yesterday as well, beating those Wake Forest Demon Deacons. If the tournament were to start today, Clemson is projected to be an 8 seed. They play Utah State in the first round. Oh, I'd be tempted to take Clemson, honestly. Yeah, I might take Clemson against Utah State. I'm not sold on Utah State at all. But anyways, Clemson currently projected to be a 9. As for North Carolina, they are projected to be a 6. They'd play Miami, Ohio in the first round. Miami, Ohio better not be an 11, by the way. They should be a 10 at the very least. They should be a 10 or a 9 or an 8. So I hope the committee gets that right. UNC, Miami can cover the points. Can they win that? I hope. I don't know. They might struggle some with Visar, though. I will say that. Anyways, in this specific matchup, I like North Carolina. I like the Tar Heels to beat Clemson. Again, selfless basketball, I get it on the Tigers. North Carolina did just win a game a couple weeks ago, if that. March 3rd. It was 9 days ago between these two teams. Even money game for the most part at home. North Carolina's like a -140 favorite, if not mistaken. They win the game at home. They win it by 4. Again, low scoring game. UNC is able to win that defensive matchup where neither team is, hitting that well from, UNC was hitting well from distance. They could not get anything inside on this team. They shot 12 for 27 from beyond the arc. They shot 38% as a whole. They made 10 shots in that game that weren't 3-pointers. we'll see again how this game plays out. I do believe North Carolina should be able to win it again. I think, again, you should see more inside scoring out of North Carolina. At least that should be more of an available thing for them. And I do believe the Tar Heels will have enough to win this basketball game. It's not at Chapel Hill, where obviously they've been dominant all year long, but I do think they win in their home state of North Carolina, obviously against South Carolina's own in the Clemson Tigers. But give me UNC money line minus 115 for the Tar Heels to move on to the semifinals of the ACC tournament, where again, we would get Duke and North Carolina for the third time this season. On to our final best bet of the video, we move to the Big West. These odds just got posted, yes, around midnight my time, so this is what it opened as. We'll see what it closes. But plus 100 for Cal State Fullerton against UC Davis. I wasn't originally going to put this game in the video. I'll tell you the two games I was considering in a second over this, but regardless, I saw plus 100 for Fullerton and I had to take it. Yes, I was planning on taking Fullerton to lose today against UC Santa Barbara, but Davis beat Barbara, so now I don't care. That's just the truth. The games that I was going to pick over this initially, I was thinking about going with San Diego State minus 5.5 against Colorado State. They probably are just too much in my opinion. And then I was also considering Florida Atlantic to beat North Texas, but I was much closer on SDSU minus 5.5. But we saw the odds for this, and we saw that Fullerton is plus money. We got to take it. Absolutely, I got to take the Titans of Cal State Fullerton to win with their elephant logo. I don't think they use that anymore, but I do, so whatever. Cal State Fullerton versus UC Davis. I love the matchup for Cal State Fullerton. I don't like Davis on a second night of a back-to-back. That is a hard-fought victory, obviously, against UCSB, right? Yesterday, I said UC Santa Barbara was going to go to the championship game in this tournament, and I believed it, right? I believe UCSB was going to beat Davis because, again, and I'll keep saying this about the Big West, it is very simple to read the Big West Conference in terms of how teams play. Again, I watch the Big West more than any other mid-major in the country. I watch the Mountain West a lot, if you considered a mid-major. I love the Mountain West. I watch it all the time. I watch the WCC all the time, and I watch the MAC all the time. There's no conference in terms of mid-major basketball I watch more than the Big West. I watch the Big West probably as much as I do the Big Ten. I'll just be honest with you, because I'm much more inclined to watch all these late night games because they all start at the same time and they're super easy to keep track of. And obviously Hawaii has their own time slot, so you can watch all these games and it's great. I love the Big West Conference. But it's easy to really determine, well, it's not determined, but it's just, you look at the Big West teams, you know what you can really just sort what all these teams do, okay? Again, I broke it down real quickly yesterday, but I'll do it again. Irvine and Hawaii are the two best teams in the conference. Again, record-wise. Are they actually the two best teams? Not Hawaii. Regardless, both those teams play great defense. They're okay offensively, but they're the two best defensive teams in the Big West. Fullerton and Northridge and Pauley are the high-paced, high-scoring teams. They're really good. UC San Diego, sorry, you can put in the defensive teams too. But Fullerton, Northridge, and Pauley are all the high-paced, great scoring teams. And then it's Davis and Santa Barbara. And I guess you can kind of include UCSD in that tier, but I'd probably put UCSD right now with UCI and Hawaii. But Barbara and Davis are both, good defensively, good offensively. Just, again, Barbara's better defensively than than Davis is. But they're both, again, more balanced than the others. And then there's just I won't put LBSU in the ass tier. They graduated from the ass tier at the end of the year because of their late year games against both Davis and against Hawaii. LBSU finished the regular season going to Honolulu and winning. So shout out to Gavin Sykes, the freshman of the year this year in the Big West. But LBSU is just, I guess we can put LBSU and Pauley in their own tier. Just but mediocre, fun, high-scoring teams. Obviously this year they were. And then UCR, Cal State Bakersfield, just the ass tier. Cesspool and whatever Bakersfield is. Ass tier. Okay, so we get now Davis versus Fullerton. Fullerton, like Northridge, they both play the exact same way. They push a pace. They do the exact same thing. They push a pace, they go fast. These two teams just played, Fullerton and Davis. They played in Fullerton. It was a 93-92 victory for Cal State Fullerton. It was a game that Davis was leading 98% of the game. Fullerton took their first lead, I believe, at 2-0. I think? No, they didn't. They took their first lead with 7 seconds to go in the game. Okay, I thought they may have scored the first basket. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing, guys. Fullerton, I know, shot 62% in that game. That's kind of absurd. But Davis doesn't score 92 points. That's just not what they do. And they did against Fullerton, but if you, hear me out here. That's not what they consistently do. That's not UC Davis basketball. They are not a high-scoring team. They're not equipped to win that game consistently. If they have to play that game on a second night of a back-to-back, they're not winning. They're not winning. They have to do this again? No. As long as Fullerton plays fast, they will win. That is the simplest way I can put this game for you. If they play fast, they will beat UC Davis. If they start clanking threes and get forced into all right, let's slow it down type game, no, they're going to lose. I expect Fullerton to play Cal State Fullerton basketball, and if they do, they will easily win this basketball game because Davis on the second night of a back-to-back, going from Santa Barbara, again, who's a good defensive team. Again, they do everything well, but just another middling team like Davis, we put them on the same tier. You go from that to a completely different stylistic game. Up-tempo, non-stop, push the entire game. That's what Fullerton's going to do. It's what both they, CSUN, and we'll include Poly does as well. And LBSU, in all fairness, that's what LBSU attempts to do. They're nowhere near as good at it, obviously, compared to Poly, and definitely not Fullerton and Northridge. Northridge, I have my concerns sometimes. But I like this Fullerton team. I do. In this spot against UCSB, I thought the matchup was going to be bad for them. I thought UCSB's defense was going to be able to take over the game against Fullerton. I'll tell you this, Davis's defense is good, and I know they beat Barbara, but it's not good enough to stop Fullerton tonight. It's not, okay? And, college basketball and sports math doesn't work like that. Oh, just because Davis beat Barbara, that means they should beat Fullerton. Again, college basketball is all about matchups. And the matchup of Barbara versus Fullerton, yes, favored the Gauchos, but Davis versus Fullerton now favors the Cal State Fullerton Titans. We're going to see this team, again, play up-tempo the entire game. They will attempt to shoot the three-point ball. Watch out for their best scorer. It is Joshua Ward. Landon Seaman is good too. Seaman, he's good as well. But Joshua Ward is their guy. I expect Joshua Ward to have a big game. Only played 12 minutes in the Northridge game. I believe he got injured in that matchup. I don't believe it's season ending at all. I think he's fine from what I've seen. Again, mid-major injury updates are hard to come by, but from what I have seen, I believe Joshua Ward is playing tonight. If he's not, I still believe Fullerton's able to play that pace. Like, they have kind of gone plug and play at points this year. And what I mean by that is, like, Joshua Ward is their leading scorer with 14 points per game, but he is not consistently their leading scorer. There is a plethora of guys in this team that can score. How about Jefferson De La Cruz, Monegero? How about, Bryce Cofield. I was blanking. Bryce Cofield can score. Christian Williams. There's a lot of players. Again, it doesn't have to be Joshua Ward. He has been their leading scorer all season long, but there is an abundance of players on this team that can get out, run in transition, and score a lot of points. As for, obviously, UC Davis, led by Connor Sevilla, Niels Cooper, Marcus Wilson, Nico Rochak, their center. It's a good team. It's just the pace in which Fullerton plays is going to be really troubling for Davis. Davis coming off that big victory yesterday against Santa Barbara, 79-73 in the upset win. They got, I think it was 19 points, 24 points out of Carl Doughtry Jr. Doughtry plays pretty much every single minute, every game for Davis, does the senior out of Arkansas. Just doesn't really score many points. 24 is his season high, and I think maybe his career high, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. At least it's his Big West career high. I don't entirely know at Central Arkansas, but I think it may still be his career high. We'll see again. I mean, I don't think they're going to get another night at Carl Doughtry like this. I will say again, Fullerton does not play the defense, obviously, that you get out of a team like the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara, but at the same time, UC Santa Barbara is nowhere near as explosive offensively as we are going to see out of a team like Cal State Fullerton. So I'm going to go with the Titans here to win this game. I think it's incredible value at plus 100. It's another plus money game that we're looking at here. Obviously, we took Miami to kick off the day. We will end the day with more plus money action here on Cal State Fullerton. Again, this is what this line opened at exactly midnight tonight on the West Coast, so hopefully it stays that way, but yeah, I like the spot enough for Cal State Fullerton, and I do believe they should be able to prevail against Davis. Again, these two teams just met a couple games ago, and it was a high-scoring game, 93-92, but I will say, how many times is Davis going to score 90 points? I believe it's the only time they've done it all year long. That's not something that you can expect at a Davis on a nightly occasion, a nightly basis, and on top of that, too, they just played yesterday. I don't think they're going to be able to run at the pace in which Cal State Fullerton wants to play, and by the way, Fullerton coming off winning 4 of 5, and an important last 2 victories against UCSD, and outrunning Northridge at CSUN. And oh, by the way, a competitive loss at home against Hawaii. Late game shenanigans by Dre Bullock. Lost that game for the Fullerton Titans. But again, they've been playing their best basketball right now. I'd argue now this is going to be the team that's going to go to the Big West Championship game to likely lose to UC Irvine. But give me Fullerton to beat UC Davis at plus 100. Okay, that'll do it for now, the best bets portion of the video, but obviously we've got every single college basketball conference tournament to go over right now, so there's a lot, lock in, except for obviously the Ivy League, who they're special, they start on Saturday because they only have 4 teams. You'd think, by the way, they would go Friday than Sunday. You think they'd start tomorrow and get their teams a day off, but I'm pretty sure they start Saturday, which I just, whatever, it's okay. It's okay. They don't want to keep him in a hotel for too long, so whatever. Okay, let's do it. First of many college basketball tournaments today. Let's kick things off with the MAC. We've got obviously an 8-team bracket in the Mid-American today. First of 3 days in Cleveland, Ohio, I believe it is, right? Cleveland? Yes, in Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. First game of the day, Miami, Ohio versus UMass. Miami wins. I did not include it in the video because 7.5 for Miami guys. They are in win and survive mode. It doesn't matter about points anymore. They're just trying to survive, and obviously still in this tournament, teams are aiming to be the team to take down Miami. That's still what it is. I think honestly, for a team like UMass, beating Miami is more than going to the NCAA tournament. You want to be the team to stop the undefeated run. No team's ever been undefeated throughout the regular season and the conference tournament in the MAC ever. UMass wants to be the team to stop that. I think the Red Hawks prevail, but I think it might be close. Miami, to me, is still winning this. They're still winning the entire thing. Akron's great. I have a weird feeling Akron's getting upset in the second round by one Kent State. But that's neither here or there. Toledo, Bowling Green, I'll go Toledo. Give me Toledo. They've got the experience. They've got the better players. Yeah, I think Toledo wins that game. I thought about doing that instead of Miami, but I chose, the Hurricanes as our first best bet, but I went with Miami. The Miami Hurricanes winning instead of picking a MAC game. Because I will say, these two teams split in regular season. Bowling Green won the game in Bowling Green. The game at Toledo, Toledo won by 1 point, and my goodness, they needed every big-time shot in that game to win. So I'm not that confident on Toledo. I think they win, but yes, they struggled in both games against Bowling Green this year, even in Toledo, Ohio. Akron, Buffalo. Buffalo's got some good scores, Daniel Freitag and whatnot. They're nowhere near the level of Akron, though. Kent State, Ohio, Kent State. Ohio just played their Super Bowl against Miami last week. They lost, so Kent State. We'll move on, obviously, tomorrow and talk more about the MAC, which I love. Next up, okay, A-10. We are down to 8 now in the A-10, not the Big Ten. St. Bonaventure yesterday beats LaSalle. Okay, thought so. Loyola Chicago beats Richmond, huh? Okay. Fordham, GEW, give me GW. George Washington should win that. St. Bonaventure likely lose to George Mason. I'll tell you that. George Mason's just struggled throughout the entire season, but they did, even through their struggling and their losing streak, they found a way to still beat St. Bonaventure. So they should do it again today. I don't even like the Bonnies in the plus 3.5. So give me the Patriots in that matchup. Duquesne versus Rhode Island. I'll go Duquesne hesitantly. I'll go Duquesne. Davidson, Loyola Chicago. Davidson cleans up. Yeah, again, George Mason, by the way, just came off a win at home against St. Louis by 20 points, a team that has been dead in the water all year long. So maybe watch out for the Patriots turning it around all of a sudden now. I will say, George Mason Dayton could get interesting tomorrow. St. Louis still projected to win this thing, but watch out for VCU and watch out for those St. Joseph Hawks. Hell yeah. Okay, next up we move to the ACC, down to 8 like we mentioned earlier. FSU beats Cal, so now they get Duke. Duke's going to blow them out. Clemson beats Wake, so they get North Carolina. We already took UNC. There you go. NC State beats Pittsburgh. Okay. Virginia should clean them up now. Louisville beats SMU. Miami should clean up on Louisville. I'm going high seeds all the way in the ACC tournament. Next up, Big East. We now would get really fun games in the Big East tourney. We are down to 8. How about those Georgetown Hoyas? Let's go. Georgetown Hoyas basketball is back. Okay. They're beating Villanova today. Oh, no, I'm serious. No, they'll cover. Screw it, we'll take them to win too. Don't bet on that, but I'll take Georgetown to cover. UConn versus Xavier. UConn, come on now. Seton Hall versus Creighton. I'll go Seton Hall hesitantly. St. John's, Providence, St. John's. Yeah, this is still UConn's to win though, easily. UConn's going to win this entire thing. They'll probably get the Johnnies in the championship game, but I'd still take the UConn Huskies. Next up, we go to the Big Ten. This monstrosity. The Indiana Hoosiers let the 15-seeded Northwestern Wildcats move on to the next round. Oh, by the way, how did Minnesota lose to Rutgers? How did that happen? Yeah, how did that happen? That was stupid. I didn't watch that game, I'll be honest with you. But anyways, I had enough watching college basketball when I watched Indiana lose to Northwestern. I'll tell you that. Okay, Ohio State versus Iowa. I'll go Ohio State. I know Iowa just beat Maryland, but I'll go with the Buckeyes there. Wisconsin, Washington. Wisconsin by 40. Purdue, Northwestern. Purdue wins, Northwestern covers the spread. UCLA, Rutgers, UCLA. Yeah, easily. Rutgers, nice run. You beat Minnesota, but UCLA takes you now. Still, Michigan State's winning this thing. Trust me. Next up, American. We are now down to 8 in the American Conference. Yes, 8. Memphis sucks ass. We've been saying it all year long. I thought maybe they'd turn it around. Penny would turn it around in the tournament. Nope. Straight up just lose to Tulane. That's cool. So Tulane now gets Charlotte. Charlotte should probably get him. FAU, North Texas, FAU. FAU beats Temple yesterday, close game, but they should carry that momentum in beating the mean green of UNT. We'll see how the rest of this tournament plays out. Again, we got till Sunday on this one. Next up, we go to the Big 12, down to 8 now in the Big 12. UCF gets by Cincinnati in overtime, putting the Knights in the tournament. That's nice. They're going to get blown out tonight against Arizona. Game won't be competitive. Iowa State beats Arizona State by 39 points. Wow. They get Texas Tech now, and they're favored by 5.5 points. Sure, I'll take Iowa State to win. I have no comment on the point spread. Houston versus BYU. Houston cleans up on Brigham Young. Kansas, TCU. No comment on the point spread. TCU will lose, though, to Kansas. Give me high seeds except for Iowa State versus Texas Tech. Southeastern Conference down now to 12 in the SEC. Missouri versus Kentucky. Give me Kentucky to win so we get another chaos scenario on the bubble at Missouri just because bubble teams have sucked. Speaking of the devil, Auburn will lose to Tennessee, but they're still in the tournament regardless because they're a lock. We've earned this up. We beat Florida, so we have to be in the tournament. Georgia, Ole Miss. Georgia obviously cleans up. A&M dominates Oklahoma. SWAC. Oh, this tournament. So obviously yesterday, Prairie View takes down the 1-seeded Bethune-Cookman. Prairie View in the regular season, guys, they went, let me just get this right. They went 16-17 and 9-9 in the conference, and they just beat the 1 seed because that's SWAC basketball for you. Florida A&M has to be by far the favorites to win this thing right now. Alabama A&M versus Texas Southern. Give me Texas Southern. I've been very back and forth in this game, but the more I looked recently, I like Texas Southern. I kind of dove deeper into what Alabama A&M has been doing these last couple games. I've switched my pick now to Texas Southern. Southern Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Southern. I now believe it's going to be a Prairie View Florida A&M championship game, though. I think Prairie View is going to continue this crazy run. Yeah, SWAC basketball. My goodness. Mountain West ball down to 8. Chaos scenario. San Jose State wins. Yeah. Go figure, right? They beat Boise. Wow. New Mexico should clean up. Oddly enough, I'd take SCSU to cover. San Diego State versus Colorado State. San Diego State wins and easily covers. GCU versus Nevada. GCU. Utah State, UNLV. Utah State, UNLV, though, makes that game a lot closer than you think it's going to be. I'll tell you tomorrow, I think GCU is going to beat Utah State. I think New Mexico still beats San Diego State. And yes, GCU wins the MWC, stealing a bid. And we get a 3-bid Mountain West with Utah State, Grand Canyon, and the New Mexico Lobos. So there's that in the Mountain West. We go to the MEAC. Oh, this stupid conference. Morgan State loses yesterday to a 2-win Delaware State team. What? They scored 15 points in the first half. Somehow they pushed it into overtime. They had all the momentum. They pushed it into overtime. By the way, Morgan State's winning with a minute to go, and Delaware State forces overtime. And then Delaware State wins. Delaware State's going to play the winner of North Carolina Central and Maryland Eastern Shore. Guys, Delaware State could still go to the NCAA tournament with the 7-22 record. They'd be 9-22 going into the NCAA tournament. It'd be the worst record of all time for a team in the NCAA tournament. I hope it happens at this point. I don't care. I still think Norfolk's winning this thing, though. Norfolk's going to beat SC State. They will then beat Howard, and they'll likely, I think, then beat... I don't know, because I think Shore is going to beat Central today. Maryland Eastern Shore has been the biggest underachiever in the second half of the season. I think they beat NC Central. And I think Shore is going to beat State, and then you get Shore versus Norfolk State in the championship, where Norfolk should be able to win at home in Norfolk, Virginia. So there's that. Conference USA basketball. Again, these mid-major elite teams keep losing. Liberty's been dominant all year long. I know they fell off the second half of the year. They lose to Big Mike in Missouri State and Keith Palak? Huh? What? Missouri State wins on back-to-back games, back-to-back days, and this is like Starch Madness in the Ohio Valley. My goodness, the Big Sky. Missouri State, like Idaho, and Idaho rolled this all the way in the championship. If you beat the number 1 seed or the 2 seed for that matter, you win on back-to-back days, then you essentially become the 1 seed because now Missouri State tomorrow will get to play the winner of La Tech and Middle Tennessee on Middle Tennessee or La Tech second night of a back-to-back, and now Mizzou State's got all the advantage. Missouri State's going to the finals, guys. They're going to the finals. They will beat whoever wins this game. I'll go La Tech. I would not bet this game at all. I'd go La Tech, and then I think Missouri State's going to beat the winner of that. Sam Houston beats New Mexico State expectedly. Kennesaw WKU, flip a coin. That's the truth of the matter. Flip a coin. Do I have a coin? I don't have a coin to flip. What can I flip right now? I don't have anything that resembles. Oh, do I have a coin? No, I don't have a coin on my desk. I have nothing that. Okay, here. I have a card. We're gonna flip a card just for the hell of it. I have a business card for a realtor. So a friend of mine. Let's flip it. Okay. I didn't even establish which was which. If it's the realtor's face on this side, if that's showing, we're going to pick WKU. If it's the opposite, we're going to take Kennesaw State. Okay, we're going to take Western Kentucky. Shout out to TJ Hufunga and his card. We're going to take Western Kentucky to beat Kennesaw State. Whack. Okay. So again, Utah Valley put up the $1 million to participate in this tournament. So we'll see if the officiating's fair for them. Just say that to say the least. But they don't play till tomorrow. UT Arlington, Southern Utah. I mean, UTA, Utah Tech, Albany and Christian, Utah Tech. I just, the WAC's like the one, western side, West Coast-ish conference I just don't really care that much about. Because there's 7 teams, so what can I say? Things about to fold anyways. Big West down to 6. Again, we already went over Fullerton Davis. Give me the Titans. UCSD Northridge, UCSD. UCSD serious trouble. I think UCI still beats them because it'd be third night of back-to-back for UCSD. But yes, San Diego will get to the Irvine game tomorrow, where obviously I expect the Anteaters, to win the entire thing, likely beating now, I believe, Fullerton in the championship game. Folks, that'll do it for our college basketball best bets and tournament previews here on Thursday, March 12th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets as the tournaments continue once more. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.